Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Just like the last video was a compilation of some of the videos that I was supposed to post in February, this one's a compilation too. It's going to be my February TBR reading vlog, my 12 challenge, and my blind date with bookmas. So let's go over, I'm actually washing my sheets today, but I'm gonna go sit there anyway and open up the blind date with bookmas book, and then all 8 of those books will be fair game to read in this video. Now, spoiler alert, I already chose the first book, so I already know what I'm reading first, but after that one I can read any of the books. It's got the numbers in here that correspond with all of the books that are in a stack under my chair, and I just drew number 4. All right, don't remember what it is, but it's fairly short feeling. Maybe it's, I don't know. I would love to be able to guess, but I can't think of what this is. So let's just go ahead and unwrap it and see what this month's blind date with bookmas is. Oh, I always forget about this one. A Match Made at Christmas by Courtney Walsh. But this is fair game to read. I'm gonna go ahead and get the other books that are part of this video. We'll talk about it real quick, and then we'll get into the reading that I've already started. Well, actually, I haven't already started the reading. I've just chosen the book. But anyway. So here's the TBR stack. Here's Blind Date with bookmas to go with it. And then also, for my 12 challenge book, where's my iPad? I have my 12 challenge book on hold with Libby, but it's saying it's not going to be available for like 3 weeks. So what I think I'm going to do is read the sample, and then if I like it or think I'm going to like it, then I'll borrow it from the library. And then if I don't like it, then I just don't bother with that. If you saw my last TBR reading vlog for January, you know I have all these prompts in this little mug, and basically I just draw a generic prompt and it tells me, or it helps me choose the next book that I read. So let's go ahead and do that first one, which I did last night, but you guys will see it now. Right now I'm in like the middle of chapter 8, and to be honest, I'm not sure where we're going with this, and I'm kind of bored. I'm gonna keep going and hopefully it gets better, but right now it's just like vibes, and I'm not really sure what the whole point is. Okay guys, I hate to do it, but I am really only reading this at this point to just like read it. I'm not enjoying the story. It's not engaging. I keep zoning out, so I'm gonna go ahead and DNF. Like, this is just not what I was hoping that it would be. I'm ready to get on to something that I'll hopefully enjoy. Oh, that's 2 of them. Let's go with this one. I think I got this one in the last video that you guys saw. Missed words in the title. So we've got... Is it the portrait of a thief or is it portrait of a thief? Anyway, that's 4 or 5. A Match Made at Christmas is 5. The 4 ones is 3. The Life Between Us is 4. Oh, I think it's gonna be this one for sure. This one's a long one. The 100 Years of Lenny and Margot. That's definitely the longest, or the title with the most amount of words. So let's get into this. I'm nervous. I've heard it's sad. I don't do well with sad books. We'll try it though. And I do just want to talk about, just so you guys know, the reason that I'm not enjoying this, it seems very detailed of things that just don't really matter. There's not a whole lot of plot going on. The girl's best friend or whatever, she's like supposed to be her best friend, but really they've just known each other a long time. She's awful. But then like the main character's friend's dad is awful also, and treats her really badly, and she found out something, and then the main character was like, oh, you don't really mean like the things that she said about him. And that kind of bothers me because it's really, I don't like that when this girl who's supposed to be her friend is like expressing her feelings that are very valid based on the way that her dad treats her, and then the main character just like brushes it off, like even though her friend is not the best person from what we've seen so far. It just bothers me that she's like, oh, you don't really mean that, like trying to like, I don't even know what the word is. Editing Sandra here, the word is gaslight. Trying to almost guilt her friend into like accepting her dad's behavior. I don't know how else to explain that, but I just found that that was just like another thing that I was like, this book is not it for me. It talks a lot about the details of the house that they're staying in and like them picking the characters they want to be. And all of that could be interesting, but it could also be summed up very quickly. And it's just gone on and on and on without really any plot to it. I think it's more character focused from what I'm seeing, and I'm a plot driven reader, so I just don't think this is for me. And I wanted to let you guys know that, so you're not just like, oh, okay, she DNF'd, but we don't know why. Because I need to be better at like explaining that. But not a moral reason. There wasn't any language in it. Just a not very interesting to me reason. But now that I'm getting into this, the first little bit was very interesting. So infinitely better. Hopefully it stays good, and hopefully this is a good read for me. Okay, so I was reading and filming in the car, but it never recorded. But I just got to the part where they realized their ages together are 100 years. Happy Monday. It is literally 8:59 on Monday morning, and I think I'm gonna do another reading like it's my 9 to 5, but it's gonna be like within this vlog. So I'm gonna go ahead and start reading for the next 50 minutes. Try to get through some more of this book. The goal is to film my TBR tonight and upload it tonight. So hopefully I will have more than, you know, just a DNF to base my ratings off of. Hopefully I can finish this one and one other one. Fingers crossed. Crazy because it's 9:30 and I've already read so much. I love doing this. Let me know in the comments though, what are you guys reading? So I read about 50 pages in that first session, if you will. So going well so far. I really hope to finish this one this morning. So we'll see if that happens. Okay. While there are things that I have issues with, there is some language, not very minimal thus far anyway. Like 2 or 3 things, I think. Other than those issues, I'm very impressed because I just read that this is her first novel. Also, I was leaning on my face, so that's why it's red. We're just going to be really real here right now. But I think that's really impressive that this is her first book, because I think it's written in a very... It kind of like gives to me the vibe of like a Tree Grows in Brooklyn kind of writing style. But it's also just like a very smart concept and plot point. It's done in such a way that it is very character driven, but it still explains the plot. Making good progress. I have about another hour before I'm gonna take a break for lunch, but something just happened that I kind of saw coming and I don't like. Like I literally, it wasn't even like descriptive or anything, but it's just like, why is that necessary? Still decent, and I have reached the more than halfway through point, so that's good. So one thing about this book, there's fuzz on my shirt. One thing about this book is it's kind of like dual perspective. Yeah, it's dual perspective, kind of dual timeline, in the sense that these 2 characters who live in the hospital because they have terminal illnesses, they're kind of like telling the story in flashbacks, but they're telling the story of the paintings that they're painting, which I think is a really cool concept. However, there is a character who one of the main characters was friends with in the past, who keeps making appearances and apparently was like a huge part of this person's life, who I just can't stand this friend. And that is part of what I'm saying that I didn't like. I just don't like this character. I'll say side character. I don't like this side character at all. And I wish she wasn't in the book. Because I just don't like her from the moment that she was introduced. And it just keeps getting worse. But overall, I really do enjoy this book. It's just that side character that I wish didn't exist. Sorry. I'm really not saying that to be mean. I just don't like her. And we're allowed to not like characters in books. So there's that. But getting back to reading. To the point where I only like Lenny's story. Is that spoilery? I don't care. Yeah. That was a really cute part. Okay, I was hoping to finish this morning, but I literally just finished it. The ending... Okay, we know how I feel about when books take scripture out of context, right? We've talked about this. It's one verse, and it is very much twisted to mean something that it does not mean. So even though I was planning on giving this like 3.5 stars, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars, which really I'm just gonna say 2 because I'm not really doing the whole half star and quarter star thing that much these days, because I only am posting on Goodreads now instead of Goodreads and Storygraph. Anyway, doesn't matter. 2 stars because I really did love the way that this story was put together. I thought it was a very creative concept. I love what the 100 years means, which it's not spoilers to say that one of the girl is 17 and then her friend's 83, and they're both, you know, in the terminal ward at the hospital. Anyway, I loved that concept. I loved the plot. I really liked the teenage girl's story. She does like make comments about God and religion that if it was anyone else, I would be like, wait a minute. But I feel like she really just doesn't know. And I feel like it comes across in a very genuine way, because someone who doesn't know, like, to me, it doesn't come across as if she's being mean. She just genuinely doesn't understand. And so I have some tolerance for that. But the other character, I just can't with her story. And it's disappointing at best. As you can see, I tabbed it. There are some really, really good quotes in this book that I really loved. But overall, disappointed with the ending. So, yeah, I don't really want to keep talking about it. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this book. It's a hard one to say, because it's like, like I said, I appreciate the concept and the way that it was written. Like, not the writing style, but like, it's written in story form of the paintings that they're painting. But then there's also some dialogue with other characters. I don't know. There's some heartwarming stuff in here. But then just that. Frustrating. Anyway, let's get the mug so I can choose the next book. Most popular. How do I decide what's most popular? That's probably gonna be the Four Winds, which is the longest one. There's no way I'm gonna finish that tonight. Also, fun fact, the reason that I'm wrapped up in a blanket is because my sweatshirt says the city that I live in. And so I'm just like trying to cover it up. The books that I have left are The Kitchen House, which is sort of popular. Perfect Son, I've never heard of before. The Wife Between Us, sort of popular, but I think arguably, or maybe unarguably, the most popular of the 4 books I have remaining is The Four Winds. Now, I might read this, or I might read part of it and decide to DNF. I'm going to get started on it, and what I might do, because I really just don't want my TBR game to be boring, is I might read a portion of each of these just to see like what I think I might rate it, and base the game off of that. Is that cheating? I don't know, but it's my game, my rules, and that is what I'm thinking about doing, because I want my game to be fun. So let's go ahead and get into The Four Winds, which I've already read the first chapter, but let's continue. Okay, apparently I'm not done talking about it. I think what I have issue with that book so much is who says the verse and in the context that they're talking about. And it's problematic because it plays into this very touchy-feely, tell you whatever you want kind of mindset that people think that Christianity should be, that it's not. There's a massive difference between speaking the truth in love and just telling you whatever you want. And I think that that's the problem that I have with that book. Okay, I have read 4 chapters, and I am going to finish this at some point, but I'm not going to finish it right now because I do want to get into these other 3. I think what I'm going to do is read like a chapter or 2 of each of these without drawing the prompts for right now. You guys will see if I get to any other prompts. But I want to do that just so I can kind of get an idea of how to play my TBR game, because I need to get it filmed and it's already getting dark outside, and yeah, I want to get that done tonight. So I'm going to take a break from the Four Winds. I might even finish this in this vlog. I don't know. But for right now, I'm setting it aside to try these other books and kind of get a feel for them. Go ahead and start with this one because I have started this one and I kind of remember where I left off. So I'm just going to read like the next chapter or so and see if it is one that I want to read or DNF or what. So let's do it. Alright, I just read the first chapter of this because apparently what I had read before was like the prologue or something, but I read chapter 1 of this. I am going to estimate about a I almost feel like this could be 4 stars, but I wasn't really engaged in it right now, but I think I could be, but I'm gonna say 3 stars just because I'm uncertain based on my engagement level. Like, it could be 4, but not sure. I'm gonna guess this one's gonna be 4, although there are some problematic things, and in the first like 3 chapters there are like open door romance scenes that I just had to skip over, but I do think that the story itself could be 4 stars, or with the story itself the book could be 4 stars. I hope that makes sense. Now I'm gonna try a chapter or 2 of these 2. Which should I do first? I'm curious. Let's go with this one. I'm not 100% sure it's going to be this, but I'm going to go with 4 stars just because I feel like this is the kind of thriller that I tend to enjoy. It's either going to be great or not so great, but I did enjoy the beginning and I'm intrigued enough to want to know like where this is going. I'm going to try a chapter or 2 and see what I think of this, what I'm predicting my rating will be if I even plan to read it. So let's get into this. Okay, this could be interesting, but I don't think this is going to be for me. It's just not super intriguing to me. So I think I'm going to go ahead and DNF this one. This book. I'm about halfway through, but oh my gosh, all the feels. I'm really glad that I kept this. I had a feeling that I would want to have read it, and I'm glad that I listened to that feeling. It's just sad, but we'll keep going. Okay, I didn't film before because I didn't know how long that was going to take me, but I just stopped off before I have my small group to pick up my 12 challenge book, Portrait of a Thief. So now I have that. I didn't start the sample, but I figured since I'm here and this is one of the libraries that has it, I would just go pick it up. And they have these cutie little bookmarks, little penguin. So I picked that up also. I don't know if you can really see that. But now I gotta skedaddle back to my small group because, you know, I'm the leader and everything and I should probably be there. All right, here we go. This book is so intense. I had heard people say that this one made them cry, and I don't often. Well, you guys have seen me cry at some books. I don't often, but I could totally understand why someone would with this one. Making very good progress. It's one of those books that, and I love this feeling, it's one of those books that when you're not reading it, you just want to get back to it. So I'm really glad that I kept this. I just kind of had that feeling about it. And infinitely better than Firefly Lane, in my opinion. Although I liked the story of that one, there were so many issues that I had with that one. This one's just really intense in a very good way. And sad. Which normally I can't handle sad books. I can't handle sad books if it ends sad. So we will see how this turns out. I'm hoping for a happy ending. But I'm not holding my breath. The way I really need to get dressed because I'm wearing the same thing as yesterday. But I don't want to stop reading. I am on chapter 31. I don't have that much farther to go. I will say I'm not enjoying this as much as I was. It kind of, that last tab, if you can see, it kind of took a turn. Well, actually, it took a major turn. And it's just different now. Which is, it's something that it's like, I get that this is the reality of the way that things were at this time period, and like you can't fault them for just trying to survive, but I don't love the turn that it's taking, and it's just kind of frustrating. I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I'm like ready to be over with it. Like I'm ready for it to end, and I want to know what happens, but I'm not enjoying the journey as much. So that's where we are, but I don't have that much farther to go, so. I'm not okay. I don't have much left. Oh gosh. Now I know why people say that this book makes them cry. Dang. Yeah, I'm not okay. And I feel a little ridiculous, but why you gotta do us like that? Okay. I'm gonna try to pull myself together here. I did lose interest for a minute, but it came back really heavy, really strong. The ending, as you can tell, made me cry, just like many people I've heard. And I really was not anticipating that being the case for me. I really didn't think that I would. But I sure did. That was, wow. I think it's gonna have to be 5 stars. I don't think I could give it lower than that. Even though there are some things that I had issues with, there's a little bit of language throughout, not a lot. And then there are those open door scenes. But really easy to skip over, like a paragraph or two. Overall, though, the story was so worth it. This is one of those books that I highly doubt that I would ever forget. I'm not okay. First Kristin Hannah book that I've actually liked. It makes me want to read the other ones. Maybe. We'll see. And now I stare into space for the next 3 days. I don't know. Now I am going to go ahead and try to pick the next book here in a minute, but I just need to have a moment. Not sure if I'm emotionally ready for another book, but let's see what the prompt is. Well, that ain't it. That's a bookmark. Newest copyright. I've got 4 books here that remain. So let's see. I did pick this up. I think I should talk to you guys about that briefly. Not sure how I'm going to feel about it, but I just picked it up just in case. This book, 2022. I think Match Made at Christmas is older. 2020, yeah. 2010. And The Perfect Son. 2019. Okay. Well, I was hoping it would be one of these, but I guess the next book that I am going to try is Portrait of a Thief. I'm not sold on this, but hopefully I will like it. Alright, I've had dinner. I've got my snacks. And some time to decompress. Also, I hate when this jacket like puffs out like that. That's so annoying. But I do believe it is time to at least try this. I'm going to read the first few chapters and let you know what I think. Wish me luck! Okay. What was I going to say about this? I have read about 55 pages, something like that. Oh, no, 60 pages. And first of all, I'm like, wait, what am I exactly reading? Like, what am I getting myself into? Because, yeah, this is essentially about these college students planning a heist. Actually planning multiple. Because they're like trying to steal back, I don't know if it's like ancient artifacts or if it's just like art from China. I don't know. But basically they're hired for an exorbitant amount of money to steal back these art pieces for China. And part of me is like, what the heck, why am I reading this? And the other part of me is like, this is just like a train wreck waiting to happen that you can't look away from. And I have to keep reading. Like, I have to know how the story goes. It's not, I don't know. But I've made really decent progress considering I just started this. Haven't read for long, and we're just kind of honestly flying through it at this point. So I think I'm probably not going to read any more tonight, but just wanted to like let y'all know that that's the situation with this book thus far. Just finished part 1 or act 1 of this book, and won't lie, I think it could have been like 40 pages. It's been kind of a struggle to get to this point where we're at act 2. I'm hopeful that things will pick up because it's been a lot of like character development and them talking about what they're going to do, not actually doing a whole lot. Not that what they're doing is great, but I really want to see this train wreck happen and see how things go down. No, but really I want to get on with this story, see where this is going. What would make this a great read? Very curious. We shall see. I won't lie, I've already been tempted to DNF, but I did persevere through Wrong Place, Wrong Time, so kind of feel like I need to do the same here. Because it's not like the worst ever, it's just not holding my attention super well. Okay, so I'm on chapter 30, about halfway through as you can tell, and if I hadn't made so much progress in it, I'd be DNFing because I'm just not loving it. The times when like stuff that actually has to do with the plot is going on are interesting, but they're so few and far between. It's so much like character study and talking about the past and these people's conversations and their feelings and all this other stuff, and there's like some PC stuff in it. There's a little bit of language, not a ton, but overall it's just not gripping. Like editing Sandra here, and I literally just heavy sighed listening to myself talk about this book. That's how much I didn't like it. I was just like, oh, can we get through this already? So I'm frustrated with that, but carrying through. I don't even really know why. I think really just because it's my 12 challenge book. I won't lie to you, I'm super tempted to like skip to the end, just like read the last few chapters, but you know, I don't want to miss everything. I don't know, man. I don't know, but not my favorite read of this vlog by a long shot, but I'll get back to it in a little bit. Okay, we're out and about. I have to do some errands, and while I'm out here, I am picking up my hold for my 12 challenge book, and I look terrible, but we're going inside. Let's do this. Okay. I'm gonna not remark on the rude high schoolers getting out of school at the moment, but secured the book, and now I'm gonna drive away in my car because I'm a grown adult and I can. Meanwhile, you're waiting for your parents. So anyway, I guess I did remark. It's fine. It's actually like hot out right now, and I love it. Back to this fascinating story. Okay, I'm sitting here getting back to reading, and then it hits me. One of the reasons that this is so frustrating, I think, is because of the difference between it and this. Like, you could not get more diametrically opposed than these two books. Here, we've got the story of struggle and people trying their hardest and nothing ever working out. And then here, privileged college students who think that the world is just their oyster and they can do whatever they want and they don't care if they get caught or not. I think that's what's frustrating me about this. You've got this, and then you've got this. Infinitely prefer this. But so we carry on. I want to finish this so I can move on to something else. Let's keep going. Oh, and also some would probably argue that they're not privileged because some of them do have like scholarships or whatever, but let's just talk about it. They go to Harvard, Duke, and UCLA. Okay, there's a level of privilege there. And anyway, and they're entitled the way that they're acting. And I'm frustrated. Oh, and I forgot the one who quit MIT because she got a job in Silicon Valley. Okay. We almost have an interesting plot point. On page 212, mind you. More pages to go. I'm sorry, I'm in such a mood reading this. Like, I'm hopeful there's gonna be something interesting by the end. Not every book is for everyone, and this one just definitely is not for me. But we've got 80 pages left. I can do this. Well, it's finally over. I am torn between a 1 and 2 stars. I know that sounds really harsh, but this just was not it for me. And there were so many things that I had issues with that I just don't think I can even give it to. So, anyway, finally done with this. Thank the Lord, because that was a struggle. But I made it through. I have officially read my January and February 12 challenge books. So, that is something to be proud of, even though both of them were not great, in my opinion. And there are other people that love them. So, you might be one that loves it. I am not. But it is time to choose the next prompt. I've got these 3 remaining, my Blind Date with Bookmas and 2 of my TBR books. I definitely am hoping to get one of these 2 because I feel like it could be a palate cleanser, but then this is kind of going along the same vein as the last 2 books, so we'll see. We will see what my prompt is. So, here's the mug. What's it say? Oh, bliss. Shortest one. Love to hear it. A match made at Christmas. Time for some Christmas vibes. And I already know that I like this one, so that'll be good. Thank goodness. Okay, so I just finished this one. While it's not super riveting, it's not the best book in the entire world, it's still a cute story. It's short. I am torn because when I do my blind date with Bookmas, there are 3 different ways that I choose 2 books for actual Bookmas in December. And so I'm torn with this one because I could count it as finished and order 2 surprise books for Bookmas in December, or I could count it as not finished because I technically didn't finish in February when it was supposed to be. So, and then I would rewrap this for Bookmas in December and then order Silver Bell Christmas, which is a book on my Bookmas wish list that I had pre-selected for February's blind date with Bookmas if I didn't finish it. Hope that makes sense, but I want you guys to decide. So tell me, should I rewrap this and buy that specific book for Bookmas, or should I buy 2 mystery books? Well, not a mystery to me, but a mystery to you guys. I figure since you guys are the ones who would be watching it, I'll let you decide. So either 2 new books or 2 pre-selected books, one of which is this one again. But now with that, it is time to choose the second to last book, either The Perfect Son or The Kitchen House. Let me get my handy dandy mug and we'll see which one is next. This is the last prompt for the video. Mood read! But how you're feeling right now. That basically means like what my actual mood is. I mean, I feel like I'm in a good mood. I think my mood right now would be more so this one, but I can't say that my mood really matches either of these. But I think this one would be the closest. So, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with that one, and this will be the last book of the video. I hope I'm not going to regret this, but I think that I'm going to DNF this just for 2 reasons. First of all, I'm not super engaged with it. I hate to say triggering, but it is. It's putting me back into that state where I was trying to read last month and all I would end up doing is thinking about sadness. So I don't think that this is really healthy for me, and I'm not super engaged with the plot, unfortunately. I think it could be interesting. If you came across this, I would say try it. Just don't think that this is going to be for me, especially not right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it's a DNF. That means we only have 1 book left to go, which is actually not bad because I really would like to finish up this video and get on with the next one. But yeah, The Kitchen House. I'm honestly not too sure about this one either, but I'm gonna give it some more time and see if I can get into it. I mean, I'm only on chapter 2, so I'm gonna see if I can get into this. It might be a DNF as well. We'll see, but I'm gonna go ahead and get started on The Kitchen House. On another note, what are you guys reading? Let me know in the comments below. In case I thought the other book was triggering, then came this one. This is very intense, but I'm not DNFing. I'm continuing to read. I've made decent progress. I'm at page 110. I'm just keeping going. Hopefully I'll finish this. I don't intend to DNF it at this point anyway, but it is sad. There are sad elements to it, but I continue reading. Literally so much sadness. This book has kind of taken a turn. Things are just different, and the tone of the book has changed. Main character is getting older, and we know that that's going to happen on the back, but it's like just kind of, I don't know if I like it as much as the beginning. I did not see that coming. I think I'm on the last chapter, but oh my gosh. I didn't think that's what was gonna happen, because this book starts out, let me pull this shade down, but the book starts out with like a prologue that is basically the end of the book. I did not think that this was how it was gonna go down. Wow. That was not what I expected. I won't lie, the last, like, I would say quarter, maybe a little less than that, was harder for me to get through. I was just kind of like ready for it to be over, but it also had some things that I was not expecting at all. I think I'm gonna give this 4 stars, and yeah, I think that's the only fair rating to give it, even though I was considering 3 just because my like enjoyment and interest level kind of peaked about 100 pages ago. I think that the quality of the story and the writing is more 4 stars, so I think that's what I'm gonna give it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I read, or well, I can't believe I got through all 8 of these. 3 DNFs, 5 read. It's been a week, and that's pretty crazy. I also do feel like I haven't really moved from this spot last week. I promise I've gone places and done things. I really should be better about like recording that part of my life. I just kind of want to recap because it's a lot of books. Got the whole stack here, so let's talk about them. Plus I don't really know like how well I vlogged. Don't really remember. So we've got A Match Made at Christmas. I had originally rated this 4 stars, which I think might have been overkill the first time that I read it. I gave it 3 stars this time around. Depending on what you guys choose for me to get for bookmas, I'm either going to rewrap this for this bookmas, or I might unhaul it. I'm not sure yet, because I like to keep it because it's short and it's easy to get through. It is a cute story. It takes some time, in my opinion, to like pick up though. Like, it's very much slow burn, and then it just kind of like happens all of a sudden, but it's still a cute story. I don't know. I like the characters together. It just kind of doesn't, it's just kind of slow until all of a sudden in like the last 5 chapters it picks up. There are so many thoughts, and yet I'm not quite sure how to put them all into words. I loved this book. There's just so much. The 5 stars was definitely well earned. There was a point in this book where I was starting to zone out and I wanted it to end, but there was no way that I could rate it lower than 5. It gripped my heart and my soul. And this is the kind of book that I love. The one that there's so many elements to it and you'll always remember it. Because most of the books that I read, to be honest, I don't remember after the fact. I'm just like, what even happened? Even if it's a book that I say I really like. Like, most of the time, I couldn't even tell you what the characters' names are. But this one, like, Elsa, oh my gosh. I just, like, you feel for her from page 1. And then you grow to love, like, the people that she loves. It's just really well written. This one, I remember, had some issues with. I liked the characters at the beginning. I like one of them better than the other one. And I'm surprised by which one I like better than the other one. I would think that I would like the older lady more than the sassy teenager, but I actually really like the teenage character much more than the older lady's character, because I just felt like her story brought in a bunch of elements that just were not it for me. And I ended up like skipping her chapters towards the end because it just was boring. And just had like a lot of stuff that I just didn't want to be reading. But I really liked the teenage character. It's very apparent that she does not understand faith and religion and Christianity, but I also found it very genuine. it's not that she's like trying, I don't think, at least I perceived it this way, I don't think she's trying to be mean and hateful. I think she just genuinely doesn't understand and wants to, just the way it comes across to me. And I need to go through and take note of all these quotes, and then I'm planning on unhauling this just because I'm not going to reread it. This one I DNF'd. I mean, it's one of those where I'm like, would I have liked this? I don't know. I just don't think that it's going to be for me. I can always rehaul it if I change my mind. This one, same thing. I would much rather get back to The Murder of Mr. Wickham because that one is so fun. It's like a retelling, but it's with the Jane Austen characters, and I just feel like that's such a better vibe. This book crushed my soul almost as much as The Four Winds. They're very similar in just like the heartbreak, the tone, the struggle. This takes place in a different time, in a different place. I don't know that I'll ever reread it, and even if I do want to reread it, I see this one in Little Free Libraries so often that I could pick it up again. So I think I might unhaul it, or I might keep it. I just feel like if I held on to it, I don't plan to reread it, so I probably will just unhaul it at some point. But yeah, DNF'd this, and I'm kind of fine with it. It just, based on something that happens in this book, I would think that this would be way more triggering for me personally than this ended up being. Like, very, way too close to home kind of situation happened in that one, but I did not have as much trouble with that as I did this. I just could not handle this. It was putting me in a really bad mental space, and that whole thing where this is basically how February went for me. Like, I would be sitting reading, and then I just end up like staring off into space for like 20 minutes. And that was happening with me again in this book. It did not happen with this, so I was able to keep reading this, but this, for whatever reason, was very triggering. And I am not easily triggered in books, but this one, for whatever reason, I just couldn't handle it. That was a DNF, unfortunately. Maybe one day I can read it, but not at this point in time. This one I barely survived. Not really. That's a little dramatic. It just was not my favorite. I gave it 1 star. I didn't like the characters. I didn't understand, like, why? What was the whole point of this? Why? I understand the, like, $10 million each thing, but, like, I get that. I would sure love to have $10 million, but you know what? Some things in life are just not worth it, you know? Yeah. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Why was this worth it to these 5? I don't understand. Asian American, I think they were all Asian American, except for like one of the, I forgot already, but Asian American college students who all go to Ivy League schools or dropped out of Ivy League schools, aka privileged teenagers trying to steal art for money. Why was this? Why? And it goes through about like that much before anything even happens. Like, they're all just talking about it until like here. Not my favorite. I'm sorry. I'm so glad that some people love this, but this was not my favorite. So anyway, that's everything for these books. Fun times had by all. Not really. Least favorite was definitely this one, and the DNFs, of course. Most favorite, this one. Now I understand. I never liked a Kristin Hannah book. Like, never really liked or really loved one before. Until this one. I can 100% say everyone should read this. If you are looking to get your heart crushed. But also looking for a heartwarming story. And anyway, definitely read this. Also, I would recommend this one. The others, I can't say that I would recommend, except for maybe like this one. But overall, that was February's reading vlog. I finished my TBR, whether it meant reading the book or DNFing it. I finished my 12 challenge, yay. and I finished my blind date with Bookmas book. I don't know if this has ever happened before. And yeah, it is March 10th, but you know what? I finished those books, regardless of whether it happened in the boundaries of February or not. I finished those books, and I am very proud of myself, and I hope you guys are proud of me too. On that note, I will talk to you all next time. I don't know what video is coming next because I was planning for it to be my little free library video. However, it's been ridiculously windy and it's just not fun to do the little free libraries in the wind. So I don't know when I'm gonna get to go do those. The next video you see either will be that, or I downloaded a bunch of books on my Libby and I might read those and do a reading vlog on them next. Or I might just skip to my TBR. I don't know. So stay tuned and I will have a video eventually again. And I don't know what it's going to be, but I hope you guys enjoy it. Anyway, I will talk to you all then. Thank you guys so much for being here. Bye!